it's raining, there's a dog barking. I hope none of these things are going to be too distracting. My name is Aubrey, and today I am going to be doing the Booktube Newbie Tag as the start to my new Booktube channel. This is my fourth time attempting to do this video. The first time I ever tried to do it was in 2014, 2015, I don't quite remember. I recorded this, I uploaded it. I think I uploaded like a book haul after it, and then I went through a bunch of changes. I moved out of my parents' house, I got my first real job, and I abandoned Booktube altogether, or at least trying to start my own channel. The second time I tried filming this video was at the very beginning of this year, maybe January or February, and then of course the apocalypse happened and I just fell into the biggest reading slump. But yeah, actually in the past month or so I've really gotten back into it. I've been wanting to start my own channel clearly for a very long time. I've been watching Booktube for a very long time. So today's the day. We're gonna do it. Here we are. Probably gonna be a little bit awkward because I'm still not used to like this, but we're just gonna work through that and it's gonna be fine. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get started. The first question is, why did you start this channel? And I guess I would say that I just really I've wanted to be a part of the Booktube community for a very long time. Like I said, I've been watching Booktube since like 2014, just sort of silently lurking, and too kind of nervous and insecure to actually start my own channel. But I love books. I've loved books ever since I was a little kid. I think that's a pretty common theme with booktubers. I love bookish people, and I just really want to be a part of this community. So that's that. Question number 2 is, what are some fun and Okay. Question number 2 is, what are some fun and unique things that you can bring to Booktube? And to that, I don't really know. I am interested in talking about more than just books on my channel. I would like to talk about TV shows that I'm watching and maybe movies that I am have enjoyed. I was thinking about including that kind of stuff into my wrap-ups and things. You know, it would be like, here are all the books I read, and here are some of the shows that I'm watching, and here's a movie that I saw. And I just kind of want my channel to be a space where I can geek out about just kind of whatever stories I'm really into, because I tend to get very invested in the books that I'm reading or the series that I'm watching, or sometimes the games that I'm playing. So yeah, I just really want a space where I can do that. Already getting off topic. So I guess that would be one thing that I would do a little differently on my channel. Another thing would be that I tend to read series all at once. I like to binge read series. I am the kind of person that will just wait for a series to be finished and then I will read all of it, because I hate having to wait in between books. I tend to forget a lot of stuff and then I lose momentum, I lose interest in the series and then I never finish. So I've just gotten to the point where I like to just wait until a series is done and then I will start reading it. So in that way I could do, whole series reviews, which you don't tend to see a lot of on Booktube because people don't tend to binge read series the way that I do. Obviously it happens, but I feel like most people like to read books as they come out, which is totally fine, but I like to wait. So I could do, whole series reviews at once, and I guess that would be a unique thing I could bring to Booktube, I guess. So question number 3 is, what are you most excited about for this new channel? And I guess number 1, I am very excited to actually be starting the channel. Because like I said and keep saying, I've wanted to for a really long time. I've just been too intimidated. But I'm also really excited to hopefully make some friends. I would love love to make some bookish friends and have people that I can, geek out about books with. My significant other, my boyfriend, does read quite a lot, actually. He reads quite a lot, but our tastes don't always overlap, so I just think it would be really nice to meet people whose tastes are similar to mine. For example, he doesn't read fantasy pretty much at all, and I love fantasy, so yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. So the next question is, why do you love reading? So I think what I love about reading specifically, as opposed to like watching a movie or watching a TV show, is that when I'm reading a book, I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but when you're watching a movie, you're watching characters up on a screen and you're watching all the events unfold, and you're following the story that way. But I feel like when I'm reading a book, I am the main character. Does anybody else feel that way? Like, I feel, usually, I mean, it depends, on the character, I guess, because sometimes main characters are not necessarily very likable. But I usually feel so much more in the shoes of the character in a book as opposed to a movie or a TV show. I do this weird thing where, like, if the author writes, like, so-and-so smiled, like, I'll smile. Or if they say, like, so-and-so furrowed his brow, I'll, like, furrow my brow. Like, I'll mimic what's going on the page, like, on my face. And I think that's because I'm, like, so into it that I just, like, I'm experiencing the story firsthand as opposed to, like, on a screen. If that makes any sense. Oh my god. I hope other people feel this way about reading, because I feel crazy talking about this right now. But yeah, and I also feel like with books you tend to get a lot more, depth. I like that you get, inside of the character's thoughts more. Usually in a TV show or a movie, you're having to interpret a character's feelings through their facial expressions and their body language, and obviously conversations that they're having with other characters. But in a book, depending on the book, you can get all of their inner turmoil and, like, their thought process and all of that stuff. And I just really appreciate that. And I just, you can't really get that anywhere else. So that's why I love reading. So the next question is, what book or series got you into reading? Okay, so fun fact about me, when I was like 6 years old, I was diagnosed with dyslexia and ADHD, and I was completely brokenhearted because the only thing I wanted to learn how to do was read. That was why I wanted to go to school. It was the thing I was the most excited to learn how to do, and come to find out that learning to read was going to be, like, one of the most difficult things that I ever had to overcome. I was devastated. And one of the best things that my parents ever did for me, thank you, Mom and Dad. Yeah, I love this so much and I appreciate them so much, but my dad especially, but both of my parents would read aloud to me, kind of well past the age that I guess kids normally get read aloud to. But we would sit around and we would read books. We read the Harry Potter books out loud. We actually read the Harry Potter books out loud up until the very last book, which came out when I was in high school, and we sat around and we read it aloud. So that's really special to me. But, we read Alice in Wonderland. We read some of the Tamora Pierce books. We read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. We read all kinds of stuff. And so that really kept my, desire to learn how to read and my love for reading alive. But the first series that I ever remember actually getting into reading on my own was actually the Goosebump series by R.L. Stine. I loved those books so much, and I feel like they were just perfect for me. They were creepy, they were weird, but they were also really short. Like, I could get through them fairly quickly. And I loved those books so much. And my parents would buy me like whole stacks of them from like garage sales, or they would get them from, friends who had children who had grown out of them or whatever. And I had a whole collection of Goosebump books. So yeah, that was actually the first series that I think really, really got me into reading, and I'm really thankful for it. The next question is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? So I guess here I'll just list a few of my favorite booktubers just so you guys can get a sense of who I like to watch, and therefore, I don't know, maybe what you can expect from my channel. I don't know. I love Reagan over at the Peruse Project. I've been watching her channel for ages and ages. She's like an auto click for me. Like any video she posts, I'm all over it. I also really like Elliot Brooks. I like Daniel Green and Murphy Napier. I tend to like booktubers who have a good mix of like adult fantasy and YA fantasy, and also sci-fi. I love sci-fi. So that just tends to be what I like to watch. I also really love Jessie May. I've discovered her channel recently and like been binge watching all of her videos. I love Sam over on Thoughts on Tomes. I'm looking through my like subscription box on YouTube. I'm like, who do I love? But anyway, what would I ask them? Let's see. I would ask them maybe how BookTube has changed their lives for the better. Because a lot of the booktubers that I watch have been on BookTube for, years and years. And I imagine that it must be such a positive influence on their life to have continued to do it for so long. And I wish I had gotten started sooner, but it's fine. We're here now. It's okay. The next question is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Probably just like my own self-doubt because I'm not a fast reader. I don't read a ton of books in a month. I'm probably never ever going to be the type of booktuber who has like 13 book wrap-ups. If I finish like 5 to 6 books in a month, I'm really happy with that. So depending on the size, I still love books. I still want a place to talk about books. I still want a place to geek out about my favorite series and all that kind of stuff. So even if I'm slower than some of the bigger booktubers, I still think I have something to offer. So, okay, next question is, when did you start reading? So, I guess going off of like the Goosebump series story that I just told you, I think I discovered those books in maybe like the 3rd or 4th grade. So I guess that was when I sort of started to get into reading on my own. And yeah, I think I've always just had like a healthy relationship with reading. I never sort of fell out of love with it. There were definitely times when I felt like I didn't necessarily have time for it. Like I definitely read a lot less in, say, high school and college, but it was always something that I wanted to do and always wanted to get back to. So yeah. Next question is, where do you read? I tend to just read on the couch, or there's a chair in the bedroom that reclines, and I like to read in the chair. I also like to read outside if the weather's nice. And the last question is, what kind of books do you like to read? So I love sci-fi and fantasy. Those are like my top tier favorite genres. And I kind of go through phases of which one I, am more into at the moment. I also love horror. I'm a big fan of Stephen King. I like psychological thrillers and mysteries. I also like, like a good emotional, literary fiction, or just like a regular novel. I'll kind of read anything as long as it's a good story. That being said, I don't tend to gravitate towards romance, and I don't tend to gravitate towards young adult contemporary anymore. I'm just sort of past that age where stories about high school really interest me anymore. But that being said, if a book came out that was just getting incredible reviews or seemed really important, I'd probably still want to pick it up just because I like a good story no matter what. So anyway, that was the Booktube Newbie Tag. Thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to subscribe and like and share. and just whatever. I'm happy to be here, and yeah, I'll have a book haul going up soon. I've already filmed it. Like I said, this is like my 4th attempt trying to do this tag. Thank you for watching. I don't know how to end this. Goodbye.